Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we will discuss dual vector of an anti-symmetric tensor with some examples. This is basically exercise 2b26 to 2b29. I think this is related with your previous lecture. Now, what is a dual vector for an anti-symmetric tensor? We know that for a symmetric tensor there are only 6 independent elements. Why there are only 6 independent elements? Because for a symmetric tensor we have Tij equals to Tji. There are totally 9 components for a tensor, and if it is symmetric then it will have 6 independent components. From here you can see that Tij equals to Tji. It will give you T11 equals to T11, T22, T22, T33, T33, T12 equals to T21, and T31 equals to T13, T23 equals to T32. So total will be 6 independent components for a symmetric tensor. So if we will see the anti-symmetric tensor, then it will have 3 independent components, 3 independent elements. How they are? There are only 3 independent elements. You can see with the help of this equation, which is Tij equals to minus time Tji. This is indicating that we are talking about anti-symmetric tensor, that if you have an anti-symmetric tensor then this condition will satisfy. Tij equals to minus time Tji. Now see with the help of this equation, you have T11 equals to T22 equals to T33 equals to 0. How these are 0? T11 equals to minus time T11, 2 times T11 equals 0, and T11 equals to 0. All the diagonal elements will become 0. Now we are left with other 6. They will be T12 equals to minus time T21, T13 equals to minus time T31, T23 equals to minus time T23. So it means that we have only 3 independent. Diagonals are 0, and other we have 3 independent. Then it means that if you have 3 known components, then you can have other 3 components with the help of this, and diagonals are 0. So you also know that a vector, any vector has 3 independent components. So we can say that our anti-symmetric tensor will behave like a vector in the sense of independent components, that both have same number of independent components. I am not saying that anti-symmetric tensor has 3 components. I am saying that anti-symmetric tensor has 3 independent components. It has total 9 components, but independent are 3. So that is why we are saying that this is just like a vector, because vector also has 3 independent components. So due to this we will define a tensor we will define a vector related with this anti-symmetric tensor, which we are saying dual vector of anti-symmetric tensor. That how we will define this dual vector for an anti-symmetric tensor? See, suppose we have an anti-symmetric tensor T. We will always have a tensor Ta. This is notation for dual vector. We always have a vector TA. This is dual vector. We have an anti-symmetric tensor T, and there corresponds a vector which is called dual vector TA, such that for every vector A, the transformed vector TA can be obtained from the cross product of this TA with A. What does this mean? We are talking about this equation number 1, that transformed vector TA will be equal to TA cross A. That if you have anti-symmetric tensor T, then for every vector A, this equation will satisfy for a vector TA. That if you obtain a transformed vector TA with the help of an anti-symmetric tensor T, then the result will remain same if you will use this right hand side of equation number 1, that you will take the cross product of this A with a vector TA. Result will be same when you are transforming A with tensor T. Then we will say that this is dual vector for tensor T. Vector T is called dual vector of the anti-symmetric tensor T. That you will say any vector TA as a dual vector for anti-symmetric tensor T if this equation holds. For every vector of A. That if you are saying that TA is the dual vector of tensor T, then this equation must hold for every vector of A. That you take a vector A, then we will do this in example, that you are given a tensor T and a vector A. What you will do, you will apply the T on A and you have a result, say B. No, you are saying that we have vector TA of this anti-symmetric tensor. Now we want to check that whether it is dual vector for this anti-symmetric or not. So what will you do? You will simply take the cross product of this A with this vector. If the result is same as we have obtained by applying T on A, then we will say that this vector is the dual vector of this tensor. No, T is the vector. No, so we want to calculate its components. Now what will be its components? We know that if it is a vector, then we can write this simply. T1A, this is first component, this is second, this is third. Now to calculate first component, what we will do, we will take simply the dot product of this with E1. So you will have T1A equals to TA dot E1, T2 this, and T3 this. So now we will calculate this thing. You can write TA dot E1 equals to TA dot, instead of E1 we are using E2 cross E3. We know that E2 cross E3 is E1. Here we will use this A dot B cross E equals to B dot C cross A. Now we have E2 dot E3 cross TA. Now we can change this as TA cross E3. So here will be minus, because we are changing A cross B equals to minus time B cross A. So we know that this thing is TE3. This is I should write here. We have used equation number 1. What is that? This is equation number 1. TA equals to, if here it is E3, TE3 equals to TA cross E3. 3 is vector. So we have E2 dot TE3, and by definition it will be T23. T1m equals to minus T23. So what does this mean? That first component is equal to minus time T23. Similarly, second will be minus time T31, and third will be minus time T3a. You can also write T1 equals to minus time T23 equals to plus T32 with the help of antisymmetry of tensor T. Plus T13 plus T21. So you can write this minus outside, and as I was saying, T32, T13 and T21. In initial notation, this result can be written as T equals to minus epsilon ijk tjk ei over 2. Let us apply this on this example. Suppose you have this T, this tensor T. Find the dual vector of this antisymmetric part. Find the dual vector of the antisymmetric part of the T. So keep in mind that we have defined our dual vector for only antisymmetric tensor T. Not for any, not for symmetric. Only for antisymmetric tensor T. So we need its antisymmetric part. Then verify this. So once you have dual vector, then this must satisfy this must satisfy for any, for every A, whatever A will be. So for antisymmetric part, you can write this T minus T transpose divided by 2. After computing this, you have this antisymmetric part of tensor T. Now you know that our dual vector is equal to this or this. Simply you will use these from this matrix, and you have your TA is this. Now as this is dual vector, this is dual vector for antisymmetric, then this must satisfy this equation for any A, for every A. To check this, A is given. Now left hand side will be TA, this A is given 1 0 1, so you have this 1 1 minus this is B, transformed vector. As I was saying when I was defining the dual vector, then the equation number 1 must satisfy for every A if this is dual vector. Or if the equation 1 is satisfied, then this will be the dual vector. Now how can we calculate the right hand side? This is very simple. TA cross A, TA cross A, E1 plus E3. When you will calculate this, you will have E1 plus E2 minus E3. This is same as B. So both sides are equal. Let us another result for a dual vector. This result says that if you have a rotation tensor R, and there is a vector m, unit vector m, in the direction of axis of rotation, if you have a rotation tensor and a unit vector in the direction of axis of rotation, then you have to show dual vector of the RA. RA means anti-symmetric part of this R is parallel to M. What is M? M is the unit vector in the direction of axis of rotation. Dual vector of the anti-symmetric part of R will be parallel to this M, and this M is already in the direction of the axis of rotation. So this is what we have to show for a rotation tensor R. Solution, proof, whatever. Now what we have to show this Q cross M equals to M. We are saying this is equation number 1, because Q is the dual vector of RA. As we are seeing in our problem, that we are denoting Q as the dual vector of RA. We are denoting dual vector with the letter Q, and we have to show dual vector parallel to M. So it means that we have to show Q cross M equals to 0. If this is 0, then we will say that these are parallel. So mathematically we have to show Q cross M equals to 0. So let us start that how we will reach on this equation number 1. We know that dual vector is related with antisymmetric part. So we will write that antisymmetric part of R equals to R minus transpose of R divided by 2, equation number 2. This is giving you antisymmetric part of R. And we also know that RA for every A equals to Q cross A. Why? Because we are saying that Q is dual vector of RA. So we can write this equation. You can see the definition that if TA is the dual vector of T, then we can write TA equals to T subscript capital A cross A small a. Sorry, T superscript capital A with superscript A capital A cross product with small a. So this is from our definition. R is the antisymmetric tensor, A is any vector, and Q is the dual vector, as we are saying in the problem that we are denoting our dual vector with small q. So RA equals to Q cross A. So we can write from equation number 2 RAM. So we can write, sorry, no, not from equation number 2. So we can write with this equation RAM equals to Q cross M. This is true for every vector A. So we are taking vector M because we are using our vector M. M is the special vector. M is a special vector. This is in the direction of axis of rotation. So we have RAM equals to Q cross M. So it means that we have left hand side of equation number 2, Q cross M. as we have to obtain this equation number 1. So here equation number 3 is telling that we have left hand side q cross m. No, we will use equation number 2. RAM equals to r minus rt or over 2 into m. That we have applied this tensor on the vector m, same vector m. RAM equals to r minus r transpose divided by 2 into m. Now we can write from 3 and 4 this equals to this. Now what we have to show, basically we have to show q cross m equals to m. Now equation 5 is telling that our q cross m equals to this r minus r transpose acting on vector m. So what we need to show, this is equal to 0. This is equal to 0. How we will show that this is equal to 0? Let us take r minus r transpose m. We can write this rm minus rtm. Equation number 6. And as we know that m is parallel to the rotation axis and r is the tensor, as what is given, r is a rotation tensor. And m is parallel to the rotation axis, so rm will be equal to m. Then m will not change when we will apply r on m, because this is parallel to axis of rotation. Rm equals to m. We are denoting this number with equation number 1, and this is Roman equation number 1. Again we are operating with transpose of r on both sides of m. So we can write r transpose rm equals to r transpose m. This is, we can write product of tensors with the help of product of tensors. RTRM equals to RTM. Then this is rotation tensor. This is orthogonal, so their product will be identity. IM equals to RTM, then IM will be M, RTM will be M. So from equation number 2 you can see that R transpose M equals to M, and from equation number 1 you can see that RM equals to M. So from 1 and 2 you can write R minus RTM equals to 0. So this is zero vector. Use this. By using this you can write from equation number 5 your q cross m equals to 0. This is what we had to show. This is telling you that the dual vector q of the antisymmetric part of the R is parallel to m. And what is m? M is a unit vector in the direction of axis of rotation. This is all about today's lecture. Please go through this, and if you have any question we will discuss this in tomorrow lecture, inshallah. Thank you so much.